You are number one.
Hello honeys! Now that I've ranked all 19 original Aikatsu brands, it's time for an overall ranking. Enjoy! #19 Bohemian Sky. I've got to be honest, I don't like bohemian fashion in general. While Bohemian Sky might have some of the most consistently cohesive cores on a technical level, I don't usually find them appropriate on a cultural level. That's my personal opinion at least. 18 Swing Rock. In comparison, I have absolutely no issue with Swing Rock's concept. Instead, it's at the bottom for purely technical reasons. Looking at the brands as a whole, it has some of the least attractive pieces in the series to me. I like a lot of Swing Rock cores, don't get me wrong, but scene and punk fashion have never been my favorites. I trust that there are a lot of people who adore this brand, but it's definitely not for me. 17 Vivid Kiss. Vivid Kiss and I have been on a journey this year, and I understand it a lot better now than I ever did before. Still, I think it's gotten away with too much for too long. It has the largest range of styles, and almost none of them have anything to do with the brand's LA street fashion concept. I feel confident that everyone can find something they like within Vivid Kiss, but everyone will also have pieces they really dislike too. That's the main weakness here. It's obvious in everything from its overall catalog to its premium rares. 16 Dance Fusion. As a much smaller brand, Dance Fusion has less room to experiment, and that works out for it since it's able to maintain a consistent style and color palette throughout all of its pieces. Although still not a super appealing style to me, there are a lot of chords that I enjoy. Its biggest weakness in my opinion is its premium rares. Soul Marionette and Bright World are meant to represent the brand, and because I don't like them very much, they really hurt its ranking. 15 Sakura Okaden. If Dance Fusion is a small brand, then Sakura Okaden is tiny. That makes it easy for it to be very cohesive as well, and I love the traditional Japanese theme. Its premium rare, Hagoromo Princess, is one of my favorites, but there are several chords I'm not super happy with. For its size, this is a very good ranking though. 14 Magical Toy. Magical Toy has a lot of creative ideas, and it's all roughly united under a circus theme. There is a noticeable split between the darker Kaide era and the brighter Ki era, but the variation between styles is a lot less severe than we see in Vivid Kiss. There's a lot of experimentation with these chords, and I prefer this friendlier style of avant-garde design than what we saw with Swing Rock. The chords are still pretty hit or miss for me though. 13 Love Queen. It'd be interesting to take a closer look at Love Queen one day since the concept is so vaguely defined. It's like a predecessor to a lot of other brands, with only Mizuki as the common through line between all of its chords. That said, I do find its various styles to be very appealing, and Royal Moon is another one of my top favorite premium rare dresses. It's another tiny brand, but I think it deserves this spot. 12 Love Moonrise. Love Moonrise is mostly held up by the Summer Night unit dresses for WM. Aside from them, I think I might prefer the Love Queen chords. However, I do have to admit that the concept for Love Moonrise is much better established and a slightly more casual take on the goddess/queen theme. I don't necessarily like that it's more casual, but it's a larger catalog with a more consistent style, so it deserves points in that respect. 11 Sangria Rosa. I've had a few reservations about Sangria Rosa in the past, but beyond what is shown in the anime, I'm a big fan of a lot of its chords. The color palette and concept are both really consistent across a large number of pieces, and although the quality might not always be the best, there are still plenty of creative designs here. This brand is worth exploring if you aren't that familiar with it and like more sophisticated styles. 10 Retro Clover. Retro Clover might be getting too big of a pass from me, but getting me to like almost every single chord is very difficult, and Retro Clover is the closest so far. It is a very small brand, but every single piece is packed with detail, and they all fit together extremely well in color, cut, and concept. Definitely a case of quality over quantity. 9 Mecha Panic. Mecha Panic was created in the very early days of Yume Kawai's development as a fashion substyle. We haven't talked about it yet since there was only one chord in the anime, so here are a few designs you might not have seen. I really enjoy the pastel dreamy look, and I find Mecha Panic's small collection to be really cozy and fun. It's pretty far from my personal style, but I still like all the creativity in these chords. 8 Happy Rainbow. The pop brands we've seen so far have all been really colorful and fun, but none of them match the bright freshness of Happy Rainbow. Part of it is the more prominent role of white base colors in these designs, but the overall palette just feels so much more vibrant. I like how light and airy they feel while still having a lot of energy. Super refreshing. 7 Futuring Girl. I haven't always been a big Futuring Girl fan, but the unique concept is really interesting. It's nice to have a brand that's free to experiment with silhouettes and materials in an effort to look more futuristic. There's a really broad range of styles here, but I think all that experimentation looks at home in a brand that's supposed to be about imagining the future. It also helps that I love the cool tone color palette. The premium rares are pretty good too. 6 Spicy Agaha. Spicy Agaha is underrated in my opinion, but a lot of its pieces are pretty dated by today's fashion standards. There are only a couple of cords that look off-theme to me, and I generally really like the Aikatsu style. Its premium rares are also really strong. Rose Bonbon is in my top 10. Give the full catalog a look if you like the more mature Aikatsu brands. 5. Aurora Fantasy. I've mentioned my love of fairy themes a few times on the channel, and that's the main motivator behind Aurora Fantasy's high ranking. It's not the most consistent brand, and there are a lot of cords I don't like here, but for all of its misses, this brand has a ton of strong hits for me. I find both Blooming and Tyrolean Aries to be really appealing, even though my taste leans a little more elegant for this brand. 4. Lowly Gothic. Lowly Gothic is mostly this high up for pure quality. Gothic styles are nowhere near my taste, but I can't deny how well Lowly Gothic handles its theming, especially considering that it's one of the biggest brands. Although the majority of cords don't fit my personal style, there are still a lot that I really love, including most of the premium rares. It's an objectively beautiful collection of pieces that deserves its popularity. 3. Dreamy Crown. Before I sat down to do this ranking, I thought Dreamy Crown would be my number 1. I love the vibrant color palette and slightly more elegant take on the cute theme. Odette Swan is also one of my top favorite premium rares, but when I looked closer, the theming was just a little too scattered for me to justify ranking it any higher. Like so many other brands, there's a large spectrum of styles that make its cores really hit or miss for just about anyone. 2. Dolly Devil. Remember when I said that Spicy Agaha was underrated and maybe a little outdated? Dolly Devil feels like the perfect upgrade. If it were a larger brand, it might have been my top favorite. It's still Agejo fashion, but it's dialed into a slightly more youthful style that makes it look even cuter. I really love the contrast in color, theme, and tone within this brand, and I wish we'd gotten even more cores from it. 1. Angel Sugar. Angel Sugar feels undeniable in its presence, scale, and popularity. It is by far the largest Aikatsu brand with a huge spectrum of styles, but unlike other brands, I think it contains all those styles convincingly. Angel Sugar is aspirational, it is everything cute, and deviations from its soft pastel color palette are rare. Not to wax too poetic here, but it really carries the broad taste of Aikatsu's core audience. Angel Sugar is so vast because the preferences of its young fans are vast. It's the OG, a classic, and deserves to be my number 1. Let me know your favorite brands in the comments below, and look out for our 2023 holiday cord showcase in a couple of weeks. Bye bye!
Sensational! Audition! Coming soon!